Hello everybody, I'm Jackie K. Cooper, and my entertainment rundown for today takes a different turn because we're following up from last week's listing of the top 10 movies of all times, my favorite top 10. And last week we gave you 10 through 6. So if you haven't watched that video yet, go to my channel, my YouTube channel, Jackie K. Cooper, and you can see what numbers 10 through 6 were. And today I'm going to give you 5 through 1. Now you've got to understand, these are not what I'm saying are the most, precisely made movies, the best edited movies, the best acted movies, best cinematography, best written, best directed. This is just overall movies that I think have stood the test of time, and they're the ones that, even though I have copies of just about all of these, if they pop up on television somewhere, I can't pass them by. I have to watch them. I'm fascinated by them. So, I'm sure that I'm not going to have some of the ones that are your favorites, but that's why you get to have your own top 10 list. And please send me your list, share it with me. A lot of you have done that already, and I've been fascinated by the movies that you feel like are your favorite movies of all time. And we're at different ages, etc., different locales, so we've got different perspectives. So your view may not be the same as mine, but I certainly respect what you tell me are your top 10. But my number 5 movie, popular movie, and I've said this in other groupings of favorite films, is Love Actually. This is a film that came out in 2003. I loved just about everything about it. There's a segment in the movie that's about a couple. They're both actors and they make pornographic films. That never fit in with the rest of the stories that were being told. But it was there. But then, like, the airlines, edited a version to be shown on airlines, and they cut that segment out. And then I think television has gone and cut that segment out because I haven't seen the movie with that portion of the film in it in some time. But the overall movie includes that grouping. But it's all different love stories. Love stories of parent to child, husband to wife, people who are in love with people who belong to someone else. It's got a huge cast in it, but at the top of the list is Hugh Grant, who plays the Prime Minister of England, and his sister is played by Emma Thompson. Music plays a lot in this film, especially in Emma Thompson's big scene. There's a Joni Mitchell song that is there, but there's a lot of music that's involved. Hugh Grant's love interest is played by an actress named Martine McCutcheon. She was great in the movie. I haven't seen her in anything since. I don't know what happened to her career. Maybe somebody out there can tell me about what happened. But I love the movie. Love it. Watch it, watch it, watch it. And it's Love Actually, and it's my number 5 film. Number 4, my favorite sports movie of all time is called Hoosiers. Now, I've had people say, no, Field of Dreams is the best sports movie ever made. Legend of Bagger Vance is the best sports movie ever made. No. Hoosiers, which is about an Indiana basketball team. The movie came out in 1986. Stars Gene Hackman, Barbara Hershey, Dennis Hopper. And I remember well going to Washington, D.C. Why Washington, D.C.? I don't know. For the press junket on this film. And I remember it being reaffirmed. I've interviewed Gene Hackman, who many of you might not even know that well. He's retired now. But he made lots and lots of movies in my heyday. And I interviewed him over and over. The man did not like me. I can't tell you why he didn't like me. But it would be, I would show up at the press table and you could see him like, ugh, is he here again? Or if we're standing in a group and everybody's raising their hands to ask questions, I would be the last person in the room called upon. It's just like, my arm's dying here, I'm holding it up so long. But he'd eventually get around and say, yeah, what do you want? What do you want to ask? He just didn't like me. We weren't personal friends. It wasn't personal animosity. Maybe I was somebody he thought of who was reincarnated, and he just didn't like me for some other reason. But I loved his movie, Hoosiers. If you haven't seen it, you've got to watch it. Beautiful soundtrack. Music from Hoosiers is fantastic. Gene Hackman is at his very best as the coach of this team that everybody bet against, who has success. So make sure you watch it. Number 3, To Kill a Mockingbird, a classic movie based on the novel by Harper Lee. A few years ago, a sequel to the book came out, a discovered manuscript, by Harper Lee. Forget it. Don't ever even look it up. To Kill a Mockingbird stands alone, and it was just a perfect, adaptation of the novel to the screen about a black man accused of a rape of a white woman. And Gregory Peck plays Atticus Finch, who defends him. And Gregory Peck was just at his height in his career. Also in the cast were Robert Duvall made his movie debut as Boo Radley, the neighbor next door that the children, Gregory Peck's character's children, befriended. Mary Badham played Scout, and she was so good as a little girl who admired her father, but the movie was almost seen through her eyes of what was going on. Mary Badham got acclaim for this movie back in 1962, and I talked to her brother, John Badham, who was a director. I talked to him several years later, and he said that his sister never got over the fact that she didn't get the career from this. She was a child actor. It was a once-in-a-lifetime role. She made other movies, but never had a career. And he said that she just never got over it, that it haunted her because she had been so well received. But everything about To Kill a Mockingbird is almost, perfectly done. Every scene, leads to the next. It builds on it. It's just, almost a picture perfect movie. So make sure that you watch this too. I'm sure you've seen it. It's been a play. Was a play on Broadway before Broadway shut down. It lives on and on. Little theater groups do it and whatever. Aaron Sorkin, the one that was on Broadway recently, was his version of To Kill a Mockingbird. He made some changes. I haven't seen it. Don't know what the changes were. I prefer to let everything stay just the way it was. But number 3 was To Kill a Mockingbird with Gregory Peck in 1962. Number 2, my wife and I used to say, if we were ever on a quiz show, where they say, what's your favorite movie, and you and your wife have to say which was which, that we would both say The Way We Were. This is a film that came out in 1973, starred Robert Redford and Barbra Streisand. It is just a romantic movie from beginning to end. Redford and Streisand were never better. The chemistry between them was just amazing. You felt the passion these characters had for each other, the way that they were torn between being together, being apart, all of that. Of course, the song The Way We Were was in the soundtrack and just added to the height of the story. It was a story of Hubble and Katie. He was Hubble, for whom everything came too easy, and Katie, the girl who had to fight for everything that she got. And I'm not going to tell you, but it has the best, worst ending of any movie I've ever seen. So just keep that in mind. But it's my go-to romantic movie. Just love The Way We Were. So if you get a chance, watch it. Now, what is my favorite movie of all time? Well, I grew up on this movie. It came out before I was born. It came out in 1939. It's about the South. It's about a time in the South that was not a great time, not a good time, because it involved slavery, and nobody should ever own another person. So all of that taken aside, Gone with the Wind, though, is an American classic. They just took Margaret Mitchell's novel, pared it down a little bit. There are elements in the book that didn't make it to the screen, but then cast it like Margaret Mitchell had been writing for these actors when she wrote the book. Clark Gable, Vivien Leigh, Olivia de Havilland, who is still alive. The movie came out in 1939. She's over 100 now, and she is still alive. Only member of the cast that I know of that is still alive. And then Leslie Howard. He plays Ashley, the person who Scarlett, Vivien Leigh's character, is so obsessed with. He is married to Melanie, played by Olivia de Havilland. And then Rhett Butler, played by Clark Gable, is in love with Vivien Leigh. Everybody's at cross purposes with everybody else in this film. But you think that this movie was made in 1939, and you watch it, and just the grandeur, the visuals in this movie, the musical score, the acting, everybody, it's like all of the elements came together at the perfect time to form this film. And again, it's not that I like this movie to glorify slavery in any way. That was an anathema on our history. But the movie of these characters and their relationships just lives on forever. And whenever Gone with the Wind is re-released or given, showing on screen, people flock to see it all across the country. And it has certainly held up. But it is the one movie that, when I think about my favorite movie, this is the one that's at the top of the list. Now, there they are. So you tell me, again, what is your top 10? I love hearing, what you think and why you think it and what you put on your list. It's perfect. Reach down there, hit that subscribe button, because we're going to be doing things like top 10 lists and different things that aren't quite movie reviews. We're going to have some little added personal things to it. So I want you to be a part of all that. So hit the subscribe button. But for today, this has been Jackie K. Cooper with my entertainment rundown of my top 5 all-time favorite movies.